Hey everybody, I'm Robert Tomlinson, the commissioner of the USA eBaseball Power League, welcoming you to our Week 9 Roundtable. That's right everybody, it's the final week of the regular season in the USA eBaseball Power League. My panel of Compass, John's Copyright, and Slimefall are here once again. Guys, can you believe that we are already at Week 9 and getting ready to wrap up the regular season?
It's week 9 already?
Yeah, that's it, man. I can't believe it went by so quick. It went by so fast, the whole season.
Yeah, it sure went fast. It sure went fast, but we are very close to wrapping things up. The playoff picture is becoming a little bit more clearer, but also a little bit more muddy. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. That's going to be our big topic today. But first, let's go ahead and get into what happened in the week that was, folks, because there were a lot of series played in Week 8, a lot with some playoff implications. And let's go ahead and start out with this one right here. The Rattlers and the Space City Comets. The Comets getting a sweep of the Rattlers. 2-0 in Game 1, 1-0 in Game 2, and 4-0 in Game 3. A straight shutout from Compass. Compass, what was your thought process going into this series?
My thought process was I just wanted to come in here, come out with the series win. MC Scales is a great opponent, but I want to secure my playoff spot and the highest seed possible to go up against the lowest seed possible. Of course, that's a big part of the playoffs, and I came in here and I didn't expect to shut him down completely. I mean, that was very surprising to me. I feel like I was pitching very, very good. A lot of perfect pitches, a lot of pitches exactly where I wanted them to. I felt very good on that side. My hitting, it was there. It was there. It wasn't exactly where I want it to be going into the playoffs, but it's not cold or anything. I thought it was a very good series for myself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, John, this was a big series for the Comets because it did lock in their position into the playoffs as they leave the series with a 20-4 record.
That's very close.
Wow.
It's a tight record right here. I mean, Compass, man, just been taking care of business throughout the whole season. I mean, sheesh, the pitching too. I mean, through the 8 weeks, only just giving up like 36 runs. It's pretty good, man. This is like the second best, but maybe the best after this week, So
yeah, that's 1.5 runs a game.
Yeah, he knows how to pitch. That's for sure, man. For Scales, though, it's a bit unlucky, man, because he was, he looked promising, in the 8th spot, and then all of a sudden it just got flipped, and he's just right on the cusp of that playoff door right now. It's pretty tough, especially going into this last week right here. You're trailing Hokivi and Zumi, but yeah. He's still a good competitor, man. It's tough, being shut out, but let's see if he bounces back next week.
Yeah, Slime, this is gonna be it's gonna take a little bit for MC Scales to really get back into playoff positioning, like John just said. MC Scales, he takes on a pretty interesting opponent here next week in the Smooth Jazz, who we'll talk about later on, who got a huge sweep against the Chicago Curve to keep their flailing playoff hopes alive. How does it feel, if you're MC Scales, you look at next week's matchup and knowing that you have to do a lot to get into the playoffs? What goes through your mind in that moment?
You gotta lock in. You just gotta lock in. This is the final series. You gotta do the best you can do to see if you can make it.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, given that both the Rattlers and the Smooth Jazz still have at least a little bit of a shot at the playoffs, the Rattlers definitely have a lot more of a chance than the Smooth Jazz do. In fact, I do believe one loss by Zumikaku in their next series against Shelly is going to pretty much eliminate Jeff and maybe even Brando a little bit too. But this is looking to be a very key series for the Rattlers next week, right? Right, Compass?
I definitely agree with that. It's going to be very key into whether MC Scales makes it into the playoffs. Yeah, he's going to have a fight that he needs to battle out if he wants to be in there like last year, or else we might see MC Scales miss out on playoffs.
Yeah, and that would be a little bit of a surprise given what he accomplished last season, sneaking into the playoffs there right in the final weeks of the season. So MC Scales is in the playoff, well, not in the playoffs, but still alive. Compass is one of 2 teams that have clinched their playoff spot with that 20-4 record, joining the Bay Area Rockets at the top of the table. And it's going to be a big series with him and Greg the Egg next week, right, John?
Yeah, Greg is no slouch, man. Greg is always coming in to compete. Good pitcher, finds a way through contact. Man, that's going to be a great matchup.
Yep, I mean, if Greg wins 2 against Compass, John's copyright is going to be more than likely your regular season champion. So, lot at stake.
Good. Yeah.
Lot at stake. So, we'll talk about that a little bit later on tonight. Next up, we have the Phantoms taking on X-Long X, and the Phantoms winning 2 out of 3. Phantoms winning game 1 by a final of 3-2, then 1-0 in game 2 before losing 3-0 to X-Long in game number 3. And John, for the Phantoms, this was a big series for their playoff chances. Even though they're below 500, they still got a little bit of a chance left to sneak into the 8th spot.
That's right. And through the series too, we saw power, of course. The usual suspects, Raigu, Otani, and Red hitting home runs is super big, especially against Exelon too. Good pitcher too. And we saw like a home run from Mine as well. Mine hit a home run from Exelon's team. But I digress. With that shadow, it is a big series too. Just to even get back into the picture, it was a bit tough, coming off he got swept last week, is that right? Yeah, against the Honu. Yeah, so it's a bit tough, coming off a sweep, but, you're still making a good point, like as a first-year player, coming in against an EPL veteran too. Yeah, good series, 2 out of 3. Good pitching too.
Yeah, and Slime, for X-Long, this was a bit of a blow to his playoff chances as he goes to, what was it, 10, 13, and 1? It's going to take a lot for X-Long to get back into the playoff hunt and get into that 8th seed, right? So Compass, for X-Long, what do you have to do here in the last week? I mean, you kind of have to win out if you're X-Long at this point, especially taking on the Bay Area Rockets.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna be the one. He a lot rides on his shoulders, both for his own season and for a lot of other people's season, including myself. No pressure on X-Long, but if he wins the series or sweeps it somehow, I mean, like, that puts him in a really good spot for playoffs at a 500 record if he could sweep, and that would give me a pretty decent chance of winning the regular season championship. Of course, I'm going up against who is the 3rd best team, so still got to win that series, but I haven't lost a series all year yet, so it's going to be a huge series. Greg is one of the best pitchers, so is myself, so I'm expecting a big pitching battle right there, but a lot rides on the series with X-Long, just around the league, both with his own season and with other people's season. If I was him, I'd just focus on making the playoffs myself. I mean, who cares about what I have to do or what Greg has to do. I mean, just focus on the task at hand. John, who cares about what he's accomplishing coming into this? You got to go in there. You got to try to make the playoffs. And if that takes a sweep, if that takes a series win, you got to get it. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah, and we've seen from... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, John.
Oh, no, I was going to say...
All right, yeah. So and for Exelon, we've seen that he has been a bit of a feisty competitor all season long. He has his moments of brilliance, and he has had a lot of moments of brilliance so far this year. But will he be able to do it against John's copyright and try to make a little bit of noise going into the final series of the season? We'll see. That's gonna be an interesting series coming up in week 9. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, a little bit more in depth later on. But let's go to our next series, which was the Bariqua Islanders and the Kane Kings. And this, I believe, despite the result in game number 2, was a very, very good performance by Big Sid. And this was a performance, even though he has been pretty much eliminated from the playoffs, this was a performance that he really needed.
So, this comes a little bit too late in the season to make any push. Of course, he's out, but this could play a big momentum role into next season, which, of course, next season is very far away. It's very hard to take momentum from this season into next season, but we know the type of talent that Big Sid is, despite his record, as well as this could carry into his next week against the Chicago Curve, which, I mean... it really doesn't mean anything at this point in the season. This series is just going to be
playing for pride.
Kind of playing for pride. But this could carry a lot of momentum going into that series, and through there we could see a big step up in Big Sid's game. I hope that he takes a lot of what this season was as a learning experience into what he needs to improve, aka his bullpen. Feel like we all agree that's kind of why his season fell apart. But I mean, he's especially after the Hoshi trade, he's slowly getting back into it. He's starting to compete a lot better now, and I think that this season definitely a learning experience. But this is something that could definitely be used for the future, and you don't succeed without failing first. Failure is a part of the process. Failure is how you learn. I mean, it's whatever for this season, but you just got to look on to the next season and try to get as much experience, as much confidence, as much momentum as you can going into there. But yeah, he looked really good against one of the top competitors. Kang, this isn't the type of series that he particularly wanted going into playoffs, but he's still pretty well placed in the playoff hunt. He's up in there. Kind of would be shocked if he dropped out of it. Let's see who he's playing next week. He's playing the Philadelphia Bandits, which they're a good team. Of course, we know what B. Farrell does. Still in the playoff hunt. He's going to be looking to make the playoffs, but of course he's probably coming into that as the favorite, as the person that's in the playoffs right now, as if we ended the season today. So, although this hurts his seeding, I don't think this hurts his playoff chances too much. But a series win or a sweep would have done very good things for securing his spot in the playoffs right now, which, of course, you need.
Yep, absolutely. But John, for Kang, this series, dropping 2 of 3 to Big Sid, that's going to impact his seeding a little bit in the playoffs, depending on what happens in week 9. Dropping 2 of 3, that drops him from probably almost, probably a top 4 seed to maybe a bottom 4 seed in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a bit tough, especially when you play a close game, for your third game and everything too. Still a good player. See him dip a little bit, mid-season, but, still pretty strong season overall. I feel like, also his players really compliment him too very well. The way he played, we saw like the 7-run rule game too. Mm-hmm. Once you get your contact hitting going, you just keep rolling. and it keeps cashing in. So, I would still hold your head high, and I guess in this next week, it's still going to be pretty tough, to focus on seeding. I feel like this is going to be some practice, going against Beefero, who was in the playoffs, last year. To see what he's made of in week 9. But yeah, I think he looks bound for playoffs. It's still like a bit iffy. I feel like if he gets one more win, it might be confirmed. But good first season so far. I mean, very proud of you, man. I remember him at North Carolina saying that he wasn't so sure about being in the no lock-on league, and proved himself wrong. Kind of happy about that too.
Yeah, I think if you're Kangang, this, like you said, this is a very successful season for him. First year in no lock-on. But yeah, it'll be an interesting to see in week 9 if he can close it out, clinch a playoff spot. I think if you get 1 or 2 wins, you're pretty much into the playoffs. So pretty good stuff from Kangang here. Despite dropping 2 of 3, but big props to Big Sid. That's a huge, huge series for him, especially going into a Pride series in week number 9. Next up, we had the DC Delegates and the humongous Melonheads, and this was a very solid performance from Hokovi to keep himself in the race for the number 8 seed. And this race for the number 8 seed starting to get a little bit closer. But the Delegates, they currently have the edge with a 13-11 record heading into week 9 and heading into a big matchup with the Purple Hurricanes to try to keep themselves in the playoffs. John, what do you think of Hokovi's chances here, especially after a big 3-game sweep of the humongous Melonheads?
Man, he's been looking pretty good these last few weeks. I mean, I'm pretty impressed. It's the contact hitting has been there. What else? Just like it's a bit nerve-wracking, going to week 9 and you have, opponent like Slimefall up in there. That's gonna be pretty tough. But like already this season, looking really good, man. And good performance against Matt too. Yeah, I mean, a win or 2, it's still looking a little bit cloudy right now, but I feel like a win or 2, might solidify his spot into the playoffs. It's going to be very tough against Slime, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, most definitely, yeah. And in Compass, this is a big series for Hokovi. Do you think right now he has the inside track for the 8 seed?
I think that he kind of does. I mean, it's gonna be pretty tough against somebody like Slime, but Slime, he's deep enough in the playoffs. I mean, Slime, don't want to say this, but he might take his foot off the pedal. Of course, him hearing this, he might just decide not to, but he's in a very good spot right now, Slime is. So if he's hungry enough and he wants it more, I can see him taking the series and securing himself in the playoffs. I think the math works out to where if he would take the series, I think that he secures himself. I could definitely see that happening with just the way everything's set up right now. Yeah. I mean, He has a pretty good chance. I mean, but then again, he's going up against Slime. Very hard matchup.
Yeah.
I can't take away anything from that.
Yeah, I think if anything, the big thing that might be a factor going into this series, especially given the records of the teams behind him and the matchups that they have coming up, that run differential number is going to be key. Because right now it's at -5, and that's only a slight lead above the Rattlers and MC Scales, just a little bit farther behind the Phantoms, but if the Rattlers and Phantoms go on a run and Hokovi struggles against Slime, we could see a little bit of a shakeup going into the playoffs, and whoever takes the 8th seed.
It's coming down to the wire right here. I mean, in a potential situation where, if Hokivi drops these 3 games, MC, that Shadow, if they win 2 games, I mean, that's where it's going to be interesting. Because, like, y'all have the same record, and it's going to go up to a run differential. That's going to be a very that's going to be a very interesting scenario right there, if that happens.
And it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, and Slime, this is your series right here, coming up against Hokivi. What's gonna be the key to defeating someone like Hokivi, or what's the key for Hokivi to defeat you?
What would that be, actually? I think it's going to go around to what Compass said, if I just let off the gas. But I will not let off the gas. I'm going to floor it like SpongeBob.
Ooh, all right, a bold prediction there from Slime, coming up for week number 9. That's going to be a fun matchup.
I might crash the boatmobile for doing that now.
Back it up.
But yeah, that's going to be an interesting series coming on down the line. We'll talk about that a little bit more and get predictions later on in the video. Next up, we had a marquee matchup between the Ghost Town Revenants and the Bay Area Rockets. And I almost want to say this was a statement series for John's copyright. In fact, I think YG, if he were here tonight, would agree that this was a statement series for John's copyright. And like he said after the match on Discord, I believe that this series solidifies that John's copyright is probably the best player in the MLB Power Pro server among the Western audience.
I think that everybody at the top that read that, I think that they should have taken that last part where he said it's not even close, and I think that should light a fire under everyone. I know that sparked a fire under me. That I feel I'm not gonna lie, I feel some type of way about that. I'll agree. I'll sit here. I'll say that he's the best in the server. We could make that argument, but it's not even close. I gotta prove myself more. I feel like everybody that read that, I feel like they should feel like they need to prove themselves.
I hate to be the person right here to say it, but like, I feel like it's very close. I mean, when you look at the top of the standings right here, I mean, it's just great competitors right here. I mean, even you, Compass, you're the champion last year too. I mean, you're up there, bro. I mean, I don't know how to take a compliment like that. Honestly, I just want to stay humble like that. I mean, it's kind of tough, I guess. Even if you're Greg too. I mean, Greg has been amazing. I mean, he beat me in my series too. Slime, one of the best power hitters in the server. YG, of course, doing YG stuff. Kang Gang doing what he did, and getting this to Singapore. I mean, there's still like a lot of talent. I feel like the gap, there's not really much of a gap. I feel like it's it's all compressed together, all together. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that one.
Yeah, it might be pretty grouped up together once Greg's series and Slimefall's series really get added in here to the standings, because as of this recording, they have not been played yet. So this is going to be interesting to see how this is going to play out and who's going to be clinching playoff spots. I believe, Greg is pretty much a lock for the playoffs. Slimefall is pretty much a lock for the playoffs. YG is a lock for the playoffs right now. He pretty much has it on lock. Just needs like maybe another win from Zumi to really make it official at this point. But this is pretty solid stuff here, and yeah, there was there was some very interesting comments by YG about John being probably the best player in the server right now. But let's not forget that in the Power Pros World server, Shura is in the server. So technically,
Technically, we could go down the list and we could start naming people in the server.
Like Shura, Ashu, Ben Zen, had ownage against me in the year from year 12. I mean, he's up there too.
TM Wang is in here. There's plenty of Japanese even people that aren't necessarily esports pros, like Sushibo's in there. I would say that Sushibo's better than any of us are, like by far. I've had experience against Sushibo, and he destroyed me. He destroyed me by like 10 runs in 2 innings. It was He's crazy. He's crazy on no lock on, but
don't forget about S. Don't forget about S Ace. He's
Ace
also up there, man.
Ace is crazy. Doesn't he have the most wins in WBSC right now?
I think so. He had like 10,000 wins.
Something like that, yeah.
He's crazy. But yeah, in the Western server, I definitely think that you have an extremely strong argument for that position, especially with your run differential. I'm not saying that YG is wrong in his take at all. That he is fully in his right mind. He can have that opinion. It's just that it's not close, which if you look at the run differential, it's not close. But as John said, he's lost a series. If I'm making an argument for myself, I have more losses than him, but I haven't even taken a loss in a series yet. Every single loss I've taken is just 1 loss out of the series. But his hitting is just other level compared to the rest of us, honestly. He's just a different level of power hitter, and that's pretty much where YG is getting it from, I assume. But, I mean, you get in the playoff situation, and I mean, with the people that are making the playoffs, with the way that seeding could go down, I don't think that it would be a total shocker if John was a first-round exit. If, say, he got matched up with a Zumi or a Kang somehow. They could definitely drop down, or John could drop down to where he's playing one of them, and they have the talent to take out somebody like John. They have the talent to take out anybody in the server. Ooh. So once we get to playoffs, seeding, I mean, of course seeding is going to be important, but no seed looks safe. Anybody can be eliminated first round. Anybody can make it. I've been saying this for weeks. Anybody could go on and win it. We could see an 8 seed championship. Zumi is like, he's been to the Summit Series multiple times now with USA and without USA, and he's going in right now. He's the 7th seed. That's scary. What's the point of even getting a high seed if you're facing Zumi?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it was even tough facing, I guess. I mean, with all the seating over here, I mean, you can position it any way you want. All these are going to be like great matchups, man. I mean, every series that I have everybody too close. I mean, I just felt like it's been lucky. So could luck still be on my side? Can people get the upper hand? In the playoffs? I mean, anything can happen. Anything can happen with these seeds, and I have to stay focused, through all of it. It's going to be very tough.
It's also a completely different game in terms of you're going off against the best talent. Everything has to be on point. If you have cold games, it's not going to go well for you. You have to be on point. Everybody in this playoffs is going to be top-notch at pitching. They're going to be great at batting. You can't slip up in these playoffs. It's going to be rough for anybody. Anybody could come out and win.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah, especially since the higher seeds do get home field advantage. So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. And pitcher rest resets.
Oh
boy.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
So
it's free. It's all fair game from here.
Yep, so another thing to take into consideration, pitcher rest resets for the playoffs. So that's going to be interesting. But for YG, though, you take one on the chin here, go down to 15-9, you're still in a pretty good spot for the playoffs, but that's a little bit of a blow, losing to the top team in the league. But how do you kind of, get back in and take on, oh God, Zoom in week 9?
I mean, he's just got a reset. Of course, he played good in the series. I'm not going to say that he didn't play good. He played really good, and John just outplayed him. 16 runs on the series is just... That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy against one of the top pitchers, and that's proof that John can hold his own in the playoff settings against these top players, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, YG, he had some great moments in that series against John. I mean, let's not forget that there's some home runs in Game 3.
There was some home runs in Game 3. Ooh, that was a bomb show. But anyway, that game was crazy. He should be looking good going into the series with the North Shore Honu. Of course, Zumi Kaku. Very good opponent. This is going to be a very big matchup in terms of both of their seedings and both of them making the playoffs. This series really hurts YG. He had an outside chance of securing that first seed, and this pretty much eliminates it. But he still has a chance to get a really high seed going into this playoffs, and that'll set him up for a lot of home games, set him up for a nice playoff run. But Zumi, a very good opponent, and I'm sure that he's going to be going his hardest so that he doesn't, for some reason, drop out the playoffs, because if Zumi drops out the playoffs, I don't know what we're going to do. I think the server might just go crazy if Zumi doesn't make the playoffs.
I mean, let's be honest. Well, he does face Shelly in Week 8. We still haven't got that matchup in. And, Shelly has improved quite a bit lately. Has gotten the hitting going a little bit. But I do see Zumi with 14 or 15 wins coming into this matchup with YG solidly in the playoffs. This would be a big series for seeding implications, because if Zumi does well against YG, we could see him with 16 wins and maybe a top 4 seed, top 5 seed here.
Yeah, definitely. This reminds me of my series last year in Week 9 versus Sir Bacon Bits, where we were both the 4th and 5th seed. And I think I was coming into it as the 5th seed. I took the series, I flipped it around as the 4th seed, and then I used that home field advantage to take the series off Sir Bacon Bits. So that series, even if you're not necessarily playing to stay in the playoffs, but I mean, they still haven't secured their place. They still got to fight to play in the playoffs, but it's mostly for seeding at this point. But that seeding could mean anything, everything. I mean, home field advantage is very, very nice.
100%. So,
I did want to mention something too for YG as well. I mean, YG was, I was looking back on his VOD too. I mean, facing against him, he was really close on a lot of those home runs, or at least on those fly balls too.
Oh yeah.
He was just super unlucky, I feel like, during that whole series. I was giving up a lot of pitches inside the zone, and he was just popping it up. I mean, he was so close on so many swings. Like, that game could have been at least a tie game, maybe a win in Game 3 for YG. Yeah, I think even for for all the games, I feel like, since he was using the power swing or big swing a lot, it could have gone either way. I feel like, he's just almost there, reworking his hitting. He still has like a little bunch of home runs, so I feel like, against the North Shore Hono, I feel like he might make a bit of a splash too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like this was that game 3. If YG had connected on a lot of those homers, we're talking about like 2017 World Series Game 5.
Game 5 with the home run that sticks out to me in that game was George Springer hitting it off of Brandon Morrow, and that was one of my favorite homers I've seen. That was just a no-doubter. Good back and forth type game. I mean, it's always fun hitting home runs, It's fun to watch them too.
Yep, definitely. So YG dropping the series 3-0 to the Bay Area Rockets, but the Rockets very much in the driver's seat. They control their own destiny for making it to the USA Finals and getting the regular season championship in Week 9. So that's going to be interesting. Coming up in Week 9, will we see a shakeup like we did last year at the top of the standings? We'll find out later on. Our last matchup that was played as of the time of this recording, the Smooth Jazz and the Chicago Curve, and I have to say, Slime, this was the best I have ever seen Jeff DeBoss play in EPL. Big 3-game sweep of the Curve.
Yeah, he was doing real good with all his hitting. His pitching was pretty good. He shut down Daigo. He shut down Daigo. That's a big feat.
Down Daigo Getsu, yeah, indeed.
Daigo's a tough pitcher to go against. So him doing that I think that solidified the win for the series for him right there. You took out Daigo, you got nothing else to fear against him.
Definitely, yeah. And he hit Daigo Getsu a lot better than he hit Onishi, who was the opener for that game, which is absolutely insane to think about. I guess Jeff is a fastball hitter?
I guess
Who knows?
so. Contact fastball.
Onishi, Onishi might have just warmed him up for the Daigo Getsu, because Onishi's fastball himself, no slouch, especially with that gold bullet. I could see that kind of leading into him warming up against that and kind of getting the feel. Of course, Daigo Getsu's fastball is faster than Onishi's, but a fast fastball like that kind of gets you ready for something like Daigo Getsu, and he might have just used that as a little bit of a warm-up to get into the Daigo Getsu parts, and Daigo was just a little bit of collateral in his onslaught, because man, he looked like he could hit anything. Jeff was playing out of his mind.
Yeah, he was dialed in.
He was crazy.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And this series pretty much eliminated the Chicago Curve from the playoffs and pretty much solidified them being eliminated from the playoffs. But the Smooth Jazz, just by a whisker, they have a little tiny bit of a chance to get into the playoffs if things just go absolutely wrong for Zumi, for Scales, for Dat Shadow, for X-Long, for B Farrell in the final 2 weeks.
This is reminding me of those playoff scenarios, when you're I don't know, let's say a Browns fan, or those mid-tier teams. You have to
mid-tier? Hang on now.
Oh, wait. But or I don't know. Or
we're just throwing shots at random teams now for no reason.
Maybe your Jets, you're just oh, we still have a chance. It's like dang, I mean that's not even an insult to Jeff. Jeff, he's been a great contact hitter all the way through. Just to even be put up there, it's good, man. He's competing, and I feel he's been playing a lot of close games too. The run differential, not too bad, but it's tough, when you're in that type of scenario. We're just hanging on by a thread. And it all depends on Zumi's match for Week 8 to see if he's still mathematically in this thing.
Definitely. And otherwise, the Smooth Jazz series, like we mentioned, coming up against the Rattlers, that's going to be big for MC Scales at the very least. But for the Smooth Jazz, it might just be, barring what happens in the Zumi Shelly series, could be a series being played for pride as well. So you could see Jeff with a little bit of motivation against MC Scales to maybe knock him out for good.
Yeah, play spoiler. All for bragging rights too. Yes.
Especially coming off of his series right there and going up against the Rattlers. I don't want to say subpar because it's still a pretty decent pitching staff, but it's definitely not top tier. The way he looks tonight, if he looks like that in week 9, we could definitely see him play spoiler. That's a huge possibility.
Yep, and that would probably be one of the best records we've seen Jeff have in an EPL season if that were to happen. So big series win for Jeff DeBoss and the Smooth Jazz. And for the Chicago Curve, they had their moments. In fact, that game 2 was pretty much decided by a 4-run inning for the Jazz, and that pretty much sunk the Curve in that game.
Yeah.
So the Curve had their chances, but the bullpen just kind of blew it a little bit there.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, good squad too. It was just, once the contact hits keep rolling and you get a lot of men on base, that's when things kind of go south. You just don't know when the contact hitting's gonna end. I've seen it a lot, these big run innings, from Zumi Kaku, from, what we just saw, Jeff, even some of the 7-run rule games too. I mean, it can just, go wrong one inning. It takes one inning just to change the whole perception of the game. And Jeff just did that. It sucks, I mean, when you had Daigo up there, you're just like, dang, man. But I feel like he should just keep his head up though. I mean, still played pretty good, pitched good up until then.
Mm-hmm. So looking at the rest of the week, Subarctic Narwhals and Sassy Squatches, that's going to be going at 10:30 p.m. on Monday night. Bandits and Hurricanes, that's going to be going sometime Monday night. Not sure if there's a time yet, but I have it listed at 8:30 right now, but that might be subject to change. Still waiting on Zumikaku and Shelly. I know that they're going to be scheduling it for early this week here, but not sure when that's going to happen just yet. But hopefully very, very soon, because that YG and Zumi series, that's going to determine a whole lot, more than likely. So
it's going to be a fun series to watch.
Yep.
That will be a fun series to watch. So guys, looking at the standings right now, just kind of given, before we make any predictions, who we pretty much have, John, Compass, Greg, Slime, pretty much figured out. YG's in the playoffs, let's be honest with ourselves here. The top 6 teams are pretty much definitely in the playoffs. Zumi more than likely in the playoffs as well. So this is going to be a battle for the number 8 seed. All right, coming into this. Well, I'm going to go around the table here, and I want to ask you who you guys think is going to get that 8th seed and get into the playoffs. So Compass, out of Hokavi, Scales, Dat Shadow, X Long, B Farrell, who do you think is going to make it as the 8th seed? And why?
This is tough. If I'm looking at next week, I think it's between MC Scales and Hokavi. The argument for Hokavi is that he's, of course, leading by 2 wins right now on his run record. He's going up against Slimefall, which is a very, very tough opponent, but with Slimefall pretty much in the playoffs, he might not be too incentivized to really go after too much of a series win. He might be looking just as practice for playoffs and not too much looking at the results, since, his series is already pretty decided. But if you go to MC Scales, his argument is he's going up against Jeff DeBoss, which Jeff DeBoss is a good team. Smooth Jazz are a good team. They're still in the playoff hunt mathematically, but they're definitely not Slimefall. I mean, he's on the lower end of the standings. So just on paper, MC Scales has a lot easier of a matchup compared to going up against Slimefall. But I think that I think that he's going to take the last playoff spot. I think that he's going to do it.
John, what do you think?
Just trying to do all the math. I really want to go into scenarios too, because imagine. Okay, I'm just gonna play it out maybe. Yeah, I want to play through all the scenarios here. My goodness, because Focus V wins one. Somebody gets a sweep. Goes to run differential. My goodness, I feel like the boring pick is Hokovi because he has the lead right now, but he has the best odds, to get into this thing. I would like to see that Shadow and MC, maybe even X-Long try to make it too. I mean,
I don't know if you would want to see X-Long make it.
Actually, no, you're right. You're right.
You're going up against.
Face off against him again. That's right. Oh no! Oh my god.
I'm hoping X-Long makes it. That's who I'm rooting for the most. I'm hoping that he takes it. Just for my season, but...
Yeah, just for your season, and for your shot.
My selfish intentions, I hope X-Long wins it.
Oh, man.
See, he's only cheering for whoever it benefits.
But I feel I'm going to be very boring then. Hokovi's going to get that 8th seed. He has a way better chance than these other teams right here. They're trailing by 2 games. It's going to be very, very tough. Especially, when it comes to run differential is looking in Hokovi's favor. So we'll see, when Slimefall plays, we'll see with Dad's Shadow series and MC Scales series. Even X-Long too. This is gonna be fun to even track all the way through. I mean, shoot. Let's see who scores a lot of runs, to catch it up.
Definitely. Slime, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I've been looking. I don't know who, because we got all fighting for this spot. We got 2 vets and 2 rooks, with Hokovi doing the best out of the rookies right now. But I would say Hokovi because you guys said it, because I honestly have no clue, because everyone's really good. They're just that close.
Dude, that's your matchup.
I know. Why do you think I said I would? I would say Hokovi, but since I have to play them, I don't know why. I feel like X1 could probably do it. I feel like he could just make a out of nowhere win, just out of nowhere.
Ooh.
It's gonna take a lot for X1 to get in. If X1 wants to get in, I think he has to sweep, doesn't he?
He does have to sweep.
He does have to sweep.
He has to sweep John. That's
that would cause a lot of chaos.
That's a very big hill to climb. Very big hill.
I wish I could pick 2 people. Goddamn. It's too hard of a choice.
I mean, you could say Zumi's gonna drop out. You could say that Shelly's gonna upset him, and you could say Zumi drops out.
You know what? I'm standing on business. I believe X1 can sweep John.
Whoa!
All right, sweet. All right, there we go.
Oh, there's the hottest take of the evening right there.
Nah, if X-Long could sweep, John's gonna be very mad knowing that he traded Kiba to him, because if he sweeps, I can't see Kiba not being a huge part of the sweep. Exactly. Kiba has to be a big part of that sweep, and that was John's guy. I mean, at the beginning of the season, John said that he would be stupid for not taking Kiba again, and then he gave him away. Is this gonna come back and haunt him?
We'll see.
Oh,
is he gonna get haunted, man? Is he gonna get haunted by Kiba again for the 2nd season in a row?
Oh man, maybe the ghost of Kiba from Kiba past. Definitely gonna come back.
Yeah, and if that happens, that opens the door for Greg or Compass or even Slime to take that number 1 seed.
Yeah, it's very close up there. It's scary.
It is.
X-Long, if you're listening,
Gotta play my
please,
game.
please, if you're listening, do this for me, buddy. I want Kiba to look at John with the smuggest smile on his face.
Oh no, that's my nightmare.
Oh boy. So let's go ahead and get into predictions, fellas. Week
Yay.
9 predictions. And we're gonna start with the series that has maybe the least implications and going up to the series that has the most implications. So we're gonna start with the Chicago Curve and the Boricua Islanders. This is a couple of teams playing for pride right now. Islanders with a couple wins more than the Curve right now. What do you guys think of this series? Compass, we'll start with you.
Is Clutch's rest updated?
Yes.
All right, so Clutch comes into this series. Of course, pitcher rest doesn't carry over, which doesn't really matter for either one of these competitors. But anyway, Daigo Getsu, Onishi with goggles, both are going to be ready for game 1. Very, very huge. If he wants to spread out his best pitchers across this last series, he can easily do that. He's going to be missing out on Yakuman 2 for game 1 and Zenigata for games 1 and 2, which really is not that big of a deal. I mean, Yakuman 2, pretty alright pitcher, but not that big of a loss. If you go over to Big Sid's side, Aoba is not going to be ready until game 3. That's going to hurt. Bucho not going to be ready until game 2. He's got Majuro up there waiting for game 1. Not a big fan of Majuro, to be honest. He's a lot better on paper than he is in game, in my opinion, but still a pretty good pitcher nonetheless. But it's going to be really hard. We saw him have a very good series against Kang last week. I think off of that, I think the Islanders, they're going to take 2 out of 3. I think they're going to lose the Daigo game, unfortunately, but I think that they're going to win 2 out of 3.
All right, John, what do you think?
I think I agree with that take right there. I feel, Big Sid's very scrappy dude. I mean, great competitor. Great competitor. I feel like he can get, into a big rally against, some of those pitchers as well. I feel like he might shut down the bats from the Curve. I feel like it's going to be 2 out of 3.
Alrighty. Slime, what are your thoughts on this series? What do you think is going to take it?
Let me just make sure. Sid won his series, his last week 8 series, right?
Yes.
I'm saying he might win 2 out of 3 just so because he's riding on a wave.
Wave.
Alrighty. So all of our panels saying that the Islanders going to take 2 of 3 from the Curve. We'll see how that goes.
I believe in you, Sid.
All right, let's go to another matchup that doesn't have a lot of playoff implications, and that's the Wolverines and the Humongous Melonheads. Wolverines, they have not played their Week 8 series yet against Zumi. That could factor in a little bit, but the Melonheads and Matt, they are currently out of the playoffs with a record of 7-16-1. Shelly coming into Week 8, 2-19, pretty much eliminated from the playoffs at the beginning of this week. So both teams, once again, playing for pride, playing for momentum, playing for fun, pretty much at this point. So what do you guys think of this series? We'll start with John.
I mean, we're going to see Shelly come back right now, trying to use more big swing. Matt, ooh. Got a lot of power in his lineup, too. I mean, we definitely seen Shelly kind of get hit around a little bit. So just off the top of my dome, I feel like Matt, just because Matt, with better record, better track record, I feel like he's going to take 2 out of 3 in this one. I definitely do want to see some home runs on there from both teams.
All right, Slime, what do you say?
I want to say part of me wants to believe in Shelly because if I remember Shelby's last series, he did great. He was actually getting a lot of good hits.
Yep, he was getting a lot of good hits there. Where are they? Yeah, right here against the Rattlers, even though they did get swept in week 7.
Yeah, he took game 1 and 2 to extras, making all the great contact hits. It's just that his fielders, I forgot which game it was, but his middle infielders, second and short, both made a jumping catch and dropped him. That messed him up.
Yeah.
So I'm just,
in game
I think I'm
2.
gonna go 2 out of 3. That was game 2.
Well, game 2 got just kind of melted down for him.
Yeah, I think that was the game where they both jumped. I believe in him. I want to give him 2 out of 3.
All right, Slime giving 2 out of 3 to the Wolverines. Compass, what do you think?
Of course, we can't look at Chili's rest. He hasn't played his week. Matt missing his Akari, non-Afro Akari, whole series. Akari's done, completely gone for the series. Say goodbye to Akari if you didn't. But he's still got Possessed Tatsumori. He's got Shindo ready for game 2. Both of those people are going to be ready for game 2. He's got Kurama. He's got some pretty nice pitchers. Wolverines have been finding their groove. They've been finding what play style works for them. That's a huge part of finding success in no lock on, is finding your identity, finding
Absolutely.
exactly what you want to do. And with him doing that, it's going to be pretty big, but unfortunately his team is just not built for what he wants to do. He just figured it out too late. He figured it out after the draft. There's not much he could do about it. I'm saying Melonheads unfortunately sweep.
All right, Melonheads in a sweep. All right, let's move on to the next matchup that has fewer implications for the playoffs, and that is going to be, oh man, not a lot actually. I would say Rattlers and Smooth Jazz next. Let's go Rattlers and Smooth Jazz next. Rattlers, obviously, they're on a little bit on the cusp of a playoff spot here, at 11 and 13. That's going to be pretty good. But Smooth Jazz, they're more than likely going to be eliminated from the playoffs with the Zumi and Shelly series here very soon. So the Smooth Jazz are going to be playing for pride. Rattlers have a lot more to play for here. And Slime, we're going to start with you on this one. What do you think of this series and how it's going to turn out?
Two good, two tough opponents. Let's see here. Jeff does have Papillon, which he might just, if I think it's going to go how it's going to go, he'll use him for the final inning each time to just get that Tyrant active. He does have Fukumizu as well, but Fukumizu's special pitch, it can mess you up when you're not ready for it. I'm not even gonna lie. If you haven't seen that pitch in a while, it really can just, it'll catch you. It'll catch you. And then he'll also have Magic Ball, Hoshi, good to go. And Bashiki, okay. Dang, I don't know. He does have a good bullpen. I might be picking based off a bullpen battle. I'm sorry, fellas. And then Scales has Lancelot, Taramoto, Ada Shamar with the goggles, Mr. Mushroom, and Bonda. Okay. I think I might give it to Jeff. Jeff has I think he has a good staff ready to go. 2 out of 3.
All right, Smooth Jazz taking 2 out of 3, says Slime. Compass, what do you say?
We looking at the rest, of course, Slime went over it. It's looking pretty good for Jeff. Jeff, I just don't really believe too much in his pitchers in general. I made this clear throughout the season. His pitchers just aren't top tier, but if you look at MC Scales, neither are his, and I feel like I took advantage of that last week. But I think that MC Scales, he's a veteran when it comes to this game. He's been playing EPL leagues. He was in Triple P in Season 1. He's been playing in EPL for 3 seasons now. I think that experience is going to come in very nicely for him, and I think that he's going to make it very interesting. I think that he's going to sweep.
All right, very interesting. A sweep, says Compass. John, what do you say?
Man, first of all, I think this is going to be a good contact hitting series right here. You know, because like I see like MC Scales getting a lot of hits, getting some bloops here and there. We just saw from Jeff, you know, a lot of hits through the holes too. Like, you know, through the shortstop, up the middle, second base. I mean, he's been finding them. And he's got some good pitchers too that have the tyrant ability, you know, so it could equalize or it could neutralize the power, you know, off those contact hits that MC Scales has. But man, shoot, I think the grit though. I think MC Scales is gonna be very hungry for this one. I feel like MC will take out of it 2 out of 3.
All right, 2 out of 3, says John for the Rattlers. All right, let's go to our next matchup in this week, and we're going to go to, let's go Sassy Squatches and the Phantom. Sassy Squatches coming in with a record of 7-13-1 through week 7 matchups, just before their week 8 matchup against Greg. But Brando Scotty more than likely going to be out of the playoffs by this point, by their matchup here. But the Dat Shadow and the Phantoms, they are very close to a playoff spot as well. They're on the bubble right now at 11-13. We're going to start with Compass on this one. Compass, what do you think of the Sassy Squatches and Phantom series? How do you think this is going to play out?
He's going to have Shohei ready for game 3. That's going to hurt him not being able to use him throughout the series. But, of course, Shohei is only a starter, so it doesn't hurt that much. Red is going to be out until game 2. He's going to have the potential to play both games 2 and 3 if he wants to stretch him out, or if he wants to just pitch him game 2. Then he's got Hokuto, DJB, Octavia, Izuyoi, Minamura ready for game 1. That's going to be a really tough game, just based on the pitcher rest that we're looking at. Greg, it's gonna be hard. Coming off this series against, Brando, it's going to be hard coming off this series against Greg. Greg is a very good opponent. Who knows what's going to happen in that series, but momentum most likely won't be going in his way. I'm going to take the Phantoms 2 out of 3.
Alrighty, John, what do you say about this series?
It's going to be very close games, I feel. Dare I say, I feel like maybe 1 or 2 of these games might go to extra innings. Oh my god.
Prediction there.
My goodness. Because they've been good pitchers for this whole season. Yeah. Okay. Man, I'm gonna have to go with my gut. Sorry, Rando. I'm gonna go 2 out of 3 for Phantoms. We're gonna see what he's gonna be made of through all this. Dig deep. You know, maybe you can find a spot in the playoffs. I feel like, you know, Phantoms are picking up momentum right here.
All right, Slime.
You know what? Just because I want chaos to happen, I think I'm gonna go 2 out of 3 for the Squatches. Cause chaos. Be a spoiler. Do crazy stuff.
You made a spoiler.
Ooh, all right. Slime going with the chaos pick there and going 2 out of 3 with the Phantoms. All right, let's go to our next matchup. Now we're starting to get into some interesting stuff here. The Kings and the Philadelphia Bandits. Now, Bandits, they have not played their Week 8 series yet against the Hurricanes as of this recording. So it's going to be interesting to see where they're going to be ending up by the time they play the Kings. There's a chance they may be eliminated from the playoffs at this particular point. Kings right now solidly in the playoff hunt. So, John, we're going to start with you on this one. What do you think? Who do you think is going to take this series?
I think I favor more Kings team right here. I think King is going to take this series 2 out of 3 just because, you know, it's Yunkai. Plus, you know, I feel like you can you can find ways to neutralize power from B Farrell right here, and I feel like with Kang's team, the way he's built, he's gonna get a lot of hits in front of the outfield. The outfield for B Farrell pretty shaky, defense altogether pretty slow to get to the ball. I feel like Kang will definitely exploit the defense for B Farrell.
Slime, what do you say about this series?
Well, considering that we don't know the pitch right for B Farrell, I'm still going with him. I feel like B Farrell could do something. That's the dinger guy right there. Give me 2 out of 3, please.
All right, 2 out of 3 for the Bandits. All right, Compass, breaking the tie here.
B Farrell, I mean, not gonna lie, I think this series depends a lot on how he does against the Purple Hurricanes. If he has a very good series against the Purple Hurricanes and still has a very good fighting chance of making the playoffs, I could see him trying very hard and coming out with the series win against the Kang Kings. But if he doesn't have a great series against Slime and he's potentially pretty much eliminated from the playoffs, I could see B Farrell as the type to not really care too much about this game going into it. I just think it depends a lot on that. But I think for Kang, especially if he does good and if B Farrell does good in his series against Slime, this is going to be a huge test for Kang going up against the former playoff opponent. Of course, B Farrell might not be in the playoffs this year unless he pulls off a great series against both Slime and Kang, which are great opponents. But it's going to be a huge test for him, and we might get an early look at how playoff Kang looks. So, it's going to be hard. I'm going to go 2 out of 3 for the Kang Kings.
All right, so John and Compass going 2 out of 3 for the Kings. Slime going 2 out of 3 for the Bandits. All right, we got a few more left to go, and we're going to go to the Purple Hurricanes and the DC Delegates. This is going to be an interesting one in terms of who might get the number 8 seed in the playoffs. Purple Hurricanes obviously in good spot for the playoffs right now, but the DC Delegates currently have the inside track for the number 8 seed, and Hokovi mentioned it on their stream last time in their Week 8 matchup against Matt that he was in a similar position before where he was right on the cusp but didn't quite make it into the playoffs and kind of blew it. So do you think that, and we're going to start with Slime here, do you think that the Delegates are going to reverse that trend? And actually, no, Slime can't make a pick here because he's playing. So we're going to start with Compass here. So Compass, given that the DC Delegates, are in the hunt for a playoff spot here, this is going to be a huge series for them. How do you think this one goes?
I'm not going to lie, it's going to be very tough. With that being said, they are going up against one of the top opponents, and they have said that they have experience in this situation. Hopefully, this does not become a repeating pattern of what happened in the past, more as he learns from it. With his rest, he's got Afro Kari going to be ready for the whole series, can drag him out the entire series if he wants to. Yamaguchi's going to be ready for Game 3. Yeah, really, Slime. You're going to have to go against Afro Kari.
Oh, I love this already.
Afro Joe, baby.
Oh,
He's got Queen Kokoro ready for Game 2. Purple Hurricanes, Slime. He's got Suzukaze out until Game 3, Alex out until Game 2. So he cannot stretch out his Suzukaze like Hokovi can stretch out his Afro Kari. But with that said, I think it's going to get really interesting. I think that the DC Delegates are going to win one. And if you recall correctly, I put the Rattlers at a sweep. So I think that's going to force a tiebreaker between those two. And both of their series are going to mean a lot for them in terms of the run differential. I think that's what it's going to come down to.
So 2 out of 3 for the Hurricanes?
Yeah, 2 out of 3 for the Hurricanes.
Wait, can I just add that I'm pretty sure that's my rest from week 7, but it's very accurate to what it's gonna be.
Oh yeah,
Suzu
you
will-
haven't played. I don't know why I keep on going over pitcher rest for people that haven't played, but
Don't worry, that pitch rest is probably gonna stay the same. Suzu will definitely be ready for game 3.
Oh yeah.
All right, so John, what do you say?
Oh man. So I'm seeing for this series, I feel, man, I feel like the delegates are going to go pretty good with contact in this series. He's going to find a lot of ways to get some of those bloops. And we're going to see a lot of power from Slime on this one. If I have to choose, I'm going to go 2 out of 3 for Hurricanes in this one. But I do see Hokivi, getting that spot, but it's going to be pretty tough. But I do see.
It's going to depend on how badly the Rattlers can beat the Smooth Jazz, and it depends how close Purple Hurricanes can make it against the DC Delegates. Of course, the DC Delegates are going to have to try to, and the games they win, they're going to have to try to run up the points, run up the run differential. That's going to be huge in both of these player series.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to our next matchup, and we're going to go to a couple of folks that are pretty much in the playoffs right now, but could be a bit of a big series in terms of playoff seeding, and that, my friends, is the Space City Comets and the Sub-Arctic Narwhals. Narwhals coming in currently in 3rd place after week 7 with a 16-5 record. Compass after week 8, 20-4, and on the cusp of a they're currently in the playoffs right now, but definitely gunning for that number 1 seed. So, John, we're going to start with you on this one. This is going to be one of the bigger series of the season for both teams. Who do you think is going to come out on top?
I gotta pick between both of these guys, man. This is already tough within itself.
Tough.
You have big matchups like this. You're like, who do you predict, man? They're both really good, man. Because I know, on paper, Compass's team is just. I feel like it's just a lot more talent there, especially on offense too. But Greg definitely, has a great squad pitching wise as well. I mean, that's probably one of the best pitching rotations in the league. Oh man. Because I know Compass can do both. He can be contact, he can be power. Greg can find ways to go through contact, not so much with power. So I'm so sorry, Greg. I'm gonna go 2 out of 3 right here for Space City Comets. I do feel like the non-2 tap might come back to haunt Greg here. The mistake pitches are going to be very, very huge, and if he gives some of those up, Compass is definitely going to hit them out. So I feel like that's a little bit of a downside. It's going to be very close games, but I feel like those would be the big difference in those games.
Yep, and that was a big difference in Game 3. Against Hokivi a couple weeks ago.
I don't know if you'd be watching my games, but the meatballs definitely do not be getting hit out. My controller is messed up.
I forgot. Yeah. Oh man, I remember that was right down the middle, and you grounded it out to the shortstop. But I was like, oh, you usually hit those though.
Hopefully, if he throws some meatballs, I could capitalize. But
all right, Slime, what do you say?
This is a tough one. Both good players. Like John said, Compass can hit for power and contact when he claims that he's not good at power swinging. But the two, I don't know, because Greg, even with with no 2 tap, I know his last series, the 2 tapping, the not 2 tap was kind of messing him up. But most games I've seen him play, he was pitching out of his mind without it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure. Plus, I think both. I know Compass has a good hit and run game. I'm sure Greg can get all the contact hits. I think he has also probably a good solid hit and run game. Dang. I do like Chaos. Give me 2 out of 3 for the Narwhals.
All right, there we go. So, a bit of a split with the eligible folks here. All right. Next, our penultimate matchup that we're going to predict this week, and that's going to be the Bay Area Rockets and X Long X. This is a big one for John to solidify the #1 seed and a spot in the USA Finals. Slime, we're going to start with you on this one. What do you say about this series? Who do you think is going to take it?
I'm still standing on business. Give me a sweep for X-Long.
Man, Jesus.
I want Chaos.
Oh, man. Slime is the chaos agent in this group chat.
Come on, man.
I like it.
Yeah.
Compass, what about you?
All right, so Kiba gonna be out until game 3. Pseudo gonna be out until game 2, but he still has all the rest of his pitchers ready. Alvin has been looking very good for him since he's gotten him from me. The rest of his pitching staff is very, very nice, even though he doesn't have an absolute top pitcher outside of Kiba. John, on the other hand, his pitching staff, Kurosama out for the entire season. Ribu's going to be ready. Kamitaka is going to be ready in game 2. He's going to have most of his main guys kind of ready. John, I don't know if he's going to have too much trouble with anybody outside of Kiba, as good as everybody on this staff is. I think John's going to secure his regular season title with a sweep. I think that he's going to finish out the season super strong. Unfortunately for X-Long.
Alrighty. So one more matchup left to go, and that is the big one. The North Shore Honu and Zumikaku taking on YG and the Ghost Town Revenants. This will be more than likely a seeding matchup here. We're going to start with Compass on this one. North Shore Honu, Ghost Town Revenants. Who you got?
This is a tough matchup because there's in theory a lot of bad blood. Of course there's no bad blood in this server, but North Shore Honu, of course we know last season YG took his title straight from his hands. He was one game away from going to North Carolina, and YG just snatched it straight from his hands. If we're going over rest, YG has Allen ready for game 2, Doe ready for game 3. Hibino is out for game 1, but he's got Amazaki, Varese, Saigo, some pretty decent arms, not the best arms, but pretty decent arms, usable arms ready for game 1, but those games 2 and 3 gonna be a lot harder for Zumi. Zumi, on the other hand, we don't know what his pitcher rest is gonna be, but he's got some arms. No real top level talent that's on the level of either Allen or Doe, which is gonna hurt. But we know the talent that both of these players have, both on both sides of the ball. I just think that the Ghost Town Revenants talent is gonna take over, and they're gonna take 2 out of 3. Their players' talent.
All right, John.
I just think that he has a better team.
All right, John, what you got?
Got contact. We also got somebody who has like a really good power line up here too. Looking at all the stats here, I mean, my goodness, pure talent right here, man. For both teams. I'm gonna have to flip a coin on this one and just decide. I honestly, I can go either way. Right here.
We have a live coin flip, everybody.
All right, let me get a coin. Hold up. Where's the coin? Where's the coin?
I got one.
Right.
I got a Pokemon coin.
All right. I got it right here. We can just do it like slash flip. All right. Let's go. Okay, heads is going to be Hanu. Hanu, heads. And then Revenants is going to be YG. Let's do it. All right. It's been decided. YG going to be taking 2 out of 3.
All right, YG taking 2 out of 3, says John. Slime, who you got?
Oh, I have no clue. This
Flip a
series
coin.
could go. All right. Okay.
Oh, man.
I got a Pikachu coin. Let's see how this goes. Okay, landed on tails, which means get at the Zoomy. Heads was YG, tails was Zoomy. Zoomy 2 out of 3.
Bang.
Alrighty, so there we go. Slime saying 2 out of 3 for the whole new. Compass and John saying Revenants 2 out of 3. Well, folks, this is going to be one heck of a finish to the regular season. Next week, we're going to be talking about the playoff matchups in the bracket. There's what it looks like, folks. We're going to zoom this one out here a little bit, show you what it looks like. There it is. Playoffs starting this time next week. 3-game series in the quarters and semis. 5-game series in the Summit Series Championship. That's going to be a fun one, y'all. I am looking forward to it. I hope y'all are too. So, guys, any final thoughts this week before we end off the video here today?
Everybody finish off strong.
Yep, everybody better bring their A game.
Yep, good luck and have fun.
Yep, good luck, have fun. I'm trying to see everybody's best. I'm trying to see some fireworks this week 9.
Alrighty, folks. Well, that is going to do it. If you like what you see, drop a sub, drop a like, all that good stuff. We're going to have some playoff matchups next week. It's going to be a fun time, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've been Robert Tomlinson, the commissioner of the USA Baseball Power League, signing out. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.